I want to talk about scaffolding this time in relative terms to professional development in particular. And I think we're all aware of scaffolding, and we've all seen scaffolding in various construction projects around the world. And it's something that we don't really give a lot of thought to. It's something that's there, it's something that provides public protection, it's something that sometimes is aesthetically pleasing. It's maybe used for advertising or marketing purposes, depending on where it is. But ultimately, it's there to help support the building as it's being constructed, and then it disappears. And it's obviously always meant to be temporary. It's meant to be obvious that there is something there that has to be respected, has to be included in your daily routine if you happen to be walking past it on an occasion, and it's something that ultimately comes down when it's time to come down. And the parallels are really there for professional development, and that's the key thing. I did a social media post not so long ago where I was talking about professional development and primarily around awareness versus interest. And more people now are certainly aware of professional coaching and mentoring and various other modalities of professional development, but that doesn't absolutely always transpose itself into actual interest. And when I say interest, what I mean is people picking up a phone and making some calls about what's on offer and what's going to be available for them, or people doing searches online, or people, seeking guidance and help from other areas. And I think that's a key parallel here in terms of scaffolding at large. It's something that is just there. It's never ever supposed to be the building. That's not you if you are the building or your team or your group or your organization, depending on what type and style of professional development that you are targeting. The point really truly is that it's not the end. It's part of the journey. It's part of the structure that you need to put in place to give yourself that opportunity to truly, honestly build things up to get to where you want to get to. And it's the thing that holds everything up while the real structure is being formed, while the real structure is being built underneath. That's the absolute key, and that's the key with a mentor. That's the key with a course. That's the key with a coach. That's the key with a professional development book or a new habit that you are learning or leaning on. The support you need is not the point. The support is there while the point is being built. That's the absolute key here. And I think that's a thing that people get wrong. Sometimes there's just no interest in putting any sort of temporary support structure in place, any scaffolding whatsoever. Some people I have met that have flatly said, I have zero interest in what you're talking about. You can stop right there, little man, because I don't want to hear any more of it. And that happens more often than you might think. And that makes me, obviously gives me more awareness, but it makes me a wee bit disappointed that people don't entertain the thought that they could get better at something that they care about, that they have maybe not manifested or utilized all of the talents or skill sets, that possibly they might not think that they are worth it, or there's some sort of objectivity to it where they're thinking, what's the point? There's just literally no point. But some people will not entertain the idea of some sort of temporary support structure there to help them get from where they are right now to where they want to be. The other one is when you lean on it too much. Can you imagine if there's a building being constructed in your hometown right now and the scaffolding is up for years and years and years and years and years? Now, that has happened with certain buildings. It depends on the type and style of structure or what they're doing to that particular building. It could be an older building that's going through some renovations or such, but the theme and the point is exactly the same. But there can get to be a point where people are relying on it too much. It becomes a dependency, it becomes a crutch, it becomes something that is not actually helping as much anymore. It might even just be a convenient habit. And while I love to speak to people and I have many long-term clients, we're always at a point of saying, is this still helping? Because sometimes the same voice, the same approach, the same, guidance and advice, if that's the type and style of relationship. Coaching is not guidance and advice, of course, but there are times when it can become too much. And I think one of the key things that I try to implore to clients, especially new clients, is My job is to do myself out of a job. My job is to get you to where you want to get to via the most appropriate journey for you, and then give you that opportunity to take the training wheels off, to take the scaffolding off, to take that temporary structure off, and have you move forward on your own because you've done the work, you are stable enough, you are strong enough, and you're healthy enough to continue to stand on your own 2 feet, to continue to stand as a standalone structure. And I think sometimes, I think ego is at play a lot of the times. Sometimes if you look at it from a pride perspective, some people, just as I mentioned, don't really want to know, admit, or acknowledge the fact that they need some help with things. And I mean, surely we are beyond that now in this day and age. If you are watching or listening to this, I hope that you're in a situation where you're saying, there is always room for improvement. There are always areas out there that I can look to gain some guidance, some advice, some inspiration, some motivation, some support, essentially. So I hope that we're in a situation where we're beyond that. And I think another part of that to counteract or to almost supplement the ego is comfort. I think, sometimes having that support structure in place, having those water wings in place, having those training wheels, having whatever it is you're using can become comfortable. And then when you're feeling comfortable, that brings an element of safety. And then when you're feeling safe, you're kind of trusting what you've built thus far. And then there's a wee bit of fear that could potentially creep in to say, I'm not 100% sure whether I could actually survive on my own without this or not. And if that's the case, then I don't know. I think you've been doing it wrong. There should be an end in mind when you begin anything. If you think about from a book perspective, you're not going to read a book in perpetuity. Even if you read it numerous times, there's going to come a point when you put the book down. There's going to be a point when you have finished that video, you've finished listening to that podcast, you have shared the talk notes with other people, you've had those conversations, and there's a finiteness to it. And I think that's absolutely key. So if you say, in terms of literally setting up the structures of your mentorship, of your professional development journey, whether it be coaching or mentorship or courses or such, that you get an opportunity to say, I believe, based on where I'm at right now, based on what I think I need to get to, and based on the professional guidance, coaching, and help and support that you have sought out, that you're in a situation to say, within 4 weeks, within 10 weeks, within 3 months, within 6 months, within 18 months, I believe that I'll be in a position to not need this support in this way any longer. And that's the key. Again, it's my job to do myself out of a job. And that's okay. Because from a pure marketing perspective, I'm in a situation where if I help you this time, you might be more inclined to come back next time. And if not, you might be more inclined to refer me to a friend or colleague. And that's the point. But I don't want you to hang on any longer to me. And I don't want there to be a position where I feel like I'm taking advantage and possibly both of us feel like I'm taking advantage. That's not the point. The point is, it's a temporary support structure while you get to where you want to get to, which is a stable, strong foundation, a stable, strong footing, standing on your own 2 feet. So think about that right now in terms of the support structure that you have in place. Are you still using that to the fullest? Or are you just used to it being there? Or is it something that you don't quite know how to break free from? Or you haven't really given it a lot of thought? Or you've paid for another 4 sessions and you really feel like you are where you are for right now? There are a whole bunch of different types and styles of conversation that you can have right now. But the key part being, do you know and understand and appreciate what type and style of support structure you need, what type and style of scaffold you need right now, today, to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be? And if so, what does that look like in terms of the overall journey? What does the temporary nature of that look like for you so that you get to that point where you say, I believe I will be done when this certain event happens, when I am able to do this, when I stop leaning on that, when I start to distance myself from that, in terms of whatever it is you're going to embark upon, in terms of your self-development journey. Think about that. It's supposed to be temporary. It's supposed to be a scaffold. And if you lean upon it like that and then stop using it when it no longer becomes useful, you're going to be in a much, much better position. Please trust me on that.